read the chapter 15 of the book Fundamentals of Physical Geography, NCERT textbook for class 11, chapter 15, Life on the Earth. So let's get started. By now you might have realized that all units of this book have acquainted you with the three major realms of the environment, that is the lithosphere, the atmosphere and the hydrosphere. You know that living organisms of the earth constituting the biosphere interact with other environmental realms. The biosphere includes all the living components of the earth. It consists of all plants and animals, including all the microorganisms that live on the planet Earth and their interactions with the surrounding environment. Most of the organisms exist on the lithosphere and or the hydrosphere as well as in the atmosphere. There are also many organisms that move freely from one realm to the another. The biosphere and its components are very significant elements of the environment. These elements interact with other components of the natural landscape such as land, water and soil. They are also influenced by the atmospheric elements such as the temperature, rainfall, moisture and sunlight. The interaction of biosphere with land, air and water are important to the growth, development and evolution of the organism. Here life on the earth is found almost everywhere. Living organisms are found from the poles to equator, from the bottom of the sea to several kilometers in the air, from freezing water to dry valleys, from under the sea to underground water lying below the earth's surface. Next point is ecology. You have been reading about ecological and environmental problems in newspapers and magazines. Have you ever thought what ecology is? The environment, as you know, is made up of abiotic and biotic components. It would be interesting to understand how the diversity of life forms is maintained to bring a kind of balance. This balance is maintained in a particular proportion so that a healthy interaction between the biotic and abiotic components goes on. The interactions of a particular group of organisms with abiotic factors within a particular habitat resulting in clearly defined energy flows and material cycles on land, water and air are called ecological system. The term ecology is derived from Greek word oikos, meaning house, and combined with the word logy, meaning the science of or the study of. Literally, ecology is the study of the earth as a household of plants, human beings, animals and microorganisms. They all live together as interdependent components. A German zoologist, Ernst Haeckel, who used the term ecology in 1869, became the first person to use the term ecology. The study of interactions between the life forms or biotic and the physical environment, that is abiotic, is the science of ecology. Hence, ecology can be defined as a scientific study of the interactions of organisms with their physical environment and with each other. A habitat. Next point is a habitat in ecological sense is the totality of the physical and chemical factors that constitute the general environment. A system consisting of biotic and abiotic components is known as ecosystem. All these components in ecosystem are interrelated and interact with each other. Different types of ecosystems exist with varying ranges of environmental conditions, where various plants and animal species have got adapted through evolution. This phenomenon is known as ecological adaptation. Next point is types of ecosystems. Ecosystems are of two major types, terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial ecosystem can be further be classified into biomes. A biome is a plant and animal community that covers a large geographical area. The boundaries of different biomes on land are determined mainly by climate. Therefore, a biome can be defined as the total assemblage of plant and animal species interacting within specific conditions. These include rainfall, temperature, humidity, and soil conditions. Some of the major biomes of the world are forest, grassland, desert, and tundra biomes. Aquatic ecosystems can be classed as marine and freshwater ecosystem. Marine ecosystem includes the oceans, estuaries, and coral reefs. Freshwater ecosystem includes lakes, ponds, streams, marshes, and bogs. Structure and function of ecosystems. The structure of an ecosystem involves the description of the available plant and animal species. From a structural point of view, all ecosystem consist of abiotic and biotic factors. Abiotic factors include rainfall, temperature, sunlight, atmospheric humidity, soil conditions, inorganic substances, carbon dioxide, water, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, potassium. Biotic factors include the producers, the consumers, primary, secondary, and tertiary, and the decomposers. The producers include all green plants which manufacture their own food through photosynthesis. The primary consumers include herbivorous animals like deer, goats, mice, and all plant-eating animals. The carnivores include all the flesh-eating animals like snakes, tigers, and lions. Certain carnivores that feed also on carnivores are known as top carnivores like hawks and mongooses. Decomposers are those that feed on dead organisms, for example scavengers like vultures and crows, and further breaking down of dead matter by other decomposing agents like bacteria and various microorganisms. Next point is the producers are consumed by the primary consumers, whereas the primary consumers are in turn being eaten by the secondary consumers. Further, the secondary consumers are consumed by the tertiary consumers. The decomposers feed on the dead at each and every level. They change them into various substances such as nutrients, organic and inorganic salts essential for soil fertility. Organisms of an ecosystem are linked together through food chain. For example, a plant-eating beetle feeding on a paddy stalk is eaten by a frog, which is in turn eaten by a snake, which is then consumed by a hawk. This sequence of eating and being eaten and the resultant transfer of energy from one level to another is known as the food chain. The transfer of energy that occurs during the process of food chain from one level to another is known as transfer of energy that occurs during the process of food chain from one level to another is known as flow of energy. However, food chains are not isolated from one another. For example, a mouse feeding on grain may be eaten by different secondary consumers or carnivores, and these carnivores may be eaten by other different tertiary consumers or top carnivores. In such situations, each of the carnivores may consume more than one type of prey. As a result, the food chains get interlocked with one another. This interconnecting network of species is known as food web. Generally, two types of food chains are recognized: grazing food chain and detritus food chain. In a grazing food chain, the first level starts with plant as a producers and ends with carnivores as consumers at the last level, with the herbivores being at the intermediate level. There is a loss of energy at each level, which may be through respiration, excretion or decomposition. The levels involved in a food chain range between 3 to 5 and energy is lost at each level. A detritus food chain is based on autotrophs, energy capture initiated by grazing animals, and involves the decomposition or breaking down of organic wastes and dead matters derived from the grazing food chain. Next point is types of biomes. In the earlier paragraph, you have learned the meaning of the term biome. Let us now try to identify the major biomes of the world. There are 5 major biomes: forest, desert, grassland, aquatic, altitudinal biomes. Some features of these biomes are given in table 15.1. Next point is biogeochemical cycles. The sun is the basic source of energy on which all life depends. This energy initiates life processes in the biosphere through photosynthesis, the main source of food and energy for green plants. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is converted into organic compounds and oxygen. Out of the total solar insolation that reaches the Earth's surface, only a very small fraction, 0.1%, is fixed in photosynthesis. More than half is used for plant respiration, and the remaining part is temporarily stored or is shifted to another portions of the plant. Life on the earth consists of a great variety of living organisms. These living organisms exist and survive in a diversity of associations. Such survival involves the presence of systematic flow, such as flow of energy, water and nutrients. These flows show variations in different parts of the world in different seasons of the year and under varying local circumstances. Studies have shown that for the last 1 billion years, the atmosphere and hydrosphere have been composed of approximately the same balance of chemical components. This balance of chemical elements is maintained by a cyclic passage through the tissues of plants and animals. The cycle starts by absorbing chemical elements by the organism and is returned to the air, water and soil through decomposition. These cycles are largely energized by the solar insolation. These cyclic movements of chemical elements of the biosphere between the organisms and the environment are referred to as biogeochemical cycles. Bio refers to the living organisms and geo to rocks, soil, air and water of the earth. There are 2 types of biogeochemical cycles, the gaseous and sedimentary cycle. In the gaseous cycle, the main reservoir of nutrients is the atmosphere, and the ocean. In the sedimentary cycle, the main reservoir is the soil and the sedimentary and other rocks of the earth crust. Next point is the water cycle. All living organisms, the atmosphere and the lithosphere, maintain between them a circulation of the water in solid, liquid or gaseous form, referred to as the water or hydrological cycle. Next, here is a format or a structure of world biome. So let's get started. Okay, biome. First is forest biome. The subtypes of forest biomes are tropical, equatorial, deciduous, temperate and boreal. The tropical or equatorial is 10 degree north and south, and deciduous is 10 to 25 degree north and south regions. Temperate biome is shown in the region of eastern North America, northeastern Asia, western and central Europe. And the boreal regions are found in a broad belt of Eurasia and North America, parts of Siberia, Alaska, Canada and Scandinavia. Next is climatic characteristics. A1 or equatorial climate, temperature 20 to 25 degrees Celsius and evenly distributed. And in case of deciduous, temperature is 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, rainfall, average annual rainfall 1000 millimeter and seasonal rainfall. And okay, next is temperate biome. Climatic characteristics of temperate biome is the temperature is 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, rainfall evenly distributed, rainfall amount is 750 to 1500 millimeter, well defined seasons and distinct winter. Next is the boreal. Climatic characteristics of boreal biome is short, moist, moderately warm summers and long, cold, dry winter, very low temperatures, precipitation mostly snowfall and 400 to 1000 millimeter. Next is soil. The soil of equatorial region is acidic, poor in nutrients, and the soil of deciduous region is rich in nutrients, and soil of temperate region fertile, enriched with decaying litter, and boreal, the soil of boreal region acidic and poor in nutrients, thin soil cover. Next point, next characteristics is flora and fauna. The flora and fauna of equatorial region is multi-layered canopy, tall and large trees. In deciduous region, less dense, trees of medium height, many varieties coexist. Insects, bats, birds and mammals are common species in both. Next is temperate region. Flora and fauna of temperate region is moderately dense, broad-leaved trees with less diversity of plant species. Oak, beech, maple, etc. are some of common species. Squirrels, rabbits, birds, black bears, mountain lions, etc. And the flora and fauna of boreal region is evergreen conifer like pine, fir, spruce, etc. Woodpeckers, hawks, bears, wolves, deers, hares and bats are common animals. Next biome is desert biome. The subtypes of desert biome are hot and dry desert, semi-arid desert, coastal desert and cold desert. The hot desert is Sahara, Kalahari, Marusthali, Rab-e-Khali. The semi-arid desert are marginal areas of hot deserts. The coastal deserts like Atacama and cold desert in tundra climatic regions. The temperature of hot and dry desert is 20 to 45 degrees Celsius. The temperature of semi-arid desert is 21 to 38 degrees Celsius. The temperature of coastal desert is 2 to 25 degrees Celsius, and the coastal desert temperature is 15 to 35 degrees Celsius, and the temperature of cold desert the 2 to 25 degrees Celsius, and rainfall is less than 50 millimeter. The soil of desert region rich in nutrients with no or little or no organic matter, and the flora and fauna of desert region like scanty vegetation, few large mammals, insects, reptiles and birds. And in cold deserts, rabbits, rats, antelopes and ground squirrels are found. Next biome is grassland biome. Grassland, the subtypes of grassland are tropical savanna and temperate steppe. The regions of tropical savanna is large areas of Africa, Australia, South America and India. The regions of temperate steppe is parts of Eurasia and North America. The climatic characteristics of tropical savanna grassland is warm, hot climates, rainfall 500 to 1250 millimeter, and the climatic characteristics of temperate steppe is hot summers and cold winter, rainfall 500 to 900 millimeter. Next is soil characteristics of tropical savanna, porous with a thin layer of humus, and the soil characteristics of temperate steppe is thin soil rich in bases. Next point is flora and fauna of tropical savanna. Grasses, trees, large shrubs absent. Giraffes, zebras, buffaloes, leopards, hyenas, elephants, mice, moles, snakes and worms etc. are common animals. And in the flora and fauna of temperate steppe is grasses, occasional trees such as cottonwoods, oaks, willows, gazelles, zebras, rhinoceros, wild horses, lions, varieties of birds, worms, snakes are common animal. Next biome is aquatic biome. Subtypes of aquatic biome is freshwater and marine. The freshwater biomes are lakes, streams, rivers and wetlands, and the marine ecosystem, marine biome is oceans, coral reefs, lagoons and estuaries. Next, the aquatic biome. The aquatic biome climatic characteristics is temperature vary widely with cooled air temperatures and high humidity. The soil is like freshwater aquatic biome. Soil is water, swamps and marshes, and in marine aquatic water, tidal, swamps and marshes also found. And the flora and fauna of aquatic biome is algal and other aquatic and marine plant communities with varieties of water dwelling animals. Next point or next biome is altitudinal biome. Slopes found in the slopes of high mountain ranges like Himalayas and Andes and Rockies. Temperature and precipitation vary depending upon latitudinal zone, and regolith over slopes. Flora and fauna of altitudinal biomes are deciduous to tundra vegetation varying according to altitude. The next point is carbon cycle. Carbon is one of the basic elements of all living organisms. It forms the basic constituent of all the organic compounds. The biosphere contains over 500,000 carbon compounds in them. The carbon cycle is mainly the conversion of carbon dioxide. This conversion is initiated by the fixation of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through photosynthesis. Such conversion results in the production of carbohydrate, glucose that may be converted to other organic compounds such as sucrose, starch, cellulose, etc. Here some of the carbohydrates are utilized directly by the plant itself. During this process, more carbon dioxide is generated and is released through its leaves or roots during the day. The remaining carbohydrates not being utilized by the plant become the part of plant tissue. Plant tissues are either being eaten by the herbivorous animals or get decomposed by the microorganisms. The herbivores convert some of the consumed carbohydrates into carbon dioxide for release into the air through respiration. The microorganisms decompose the remaining carbohydrates after the animal dies. The carbohydrates that are decomposed by the microorganisms then get oxidized into carbon dioxide and returned to the atmosphere. Next point is oxygen cycle. Oxygen is the main byproduct of photosynthesis. It is involved in the oxidation of carbohydrates with the release of energy, carbon dioxide and water. The cycling of oxygen is a highly complex process. Oxygen occurs in a number of chemical forms and combinations. It combines with nitrogen to form nitrates and with many other minerals and elements to form various oxides such as iron oxide, aluminum oxide and others. Much of oxygen is produced from the decomposition of water molecules by sunlight during photosynthesis and is released in the atmosphere through transpiration and respiration processes of plants. Next point is nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is a major constituent of the atmosphere, comprising about 78% of the atmospheric gases. It is also an essential constituent of different organic compounds such as amino acid, nucleic acids, proteins, vitamins and pigments. Only a few types of organisms like certain species of soil bacteria and blue-green algae are capable of utilizing it directly in its gaseous form. Generally, nitrogen is usable only after it is fixed. 90% of the fixed nitrogen is biological. The principal source of free nitrogen is the action of soil microorganisms and associated plant roots on atmospheric nitrogen found in pore spaces of the soil. Nitrogen can also be fixed in the atmosphere by lightning and cosmic radiation. In the oceans, some marine animals can fix it. After atmospheric nitrogen has been fixed into available form, green plants can assimilate it. Herbivorous animals feeding on plants in turn consume some of it. Dead plants and animals' excretion of nitrogenous wastes are converted into nitrites by the action of bacteria present in the soil. Some bacteria can even convert nitrites into nitrates that can be used again by green plants. There are still other types of bacteria capable of converting nitrates into free nitrogen, a process known as denitrification. Next point is other mineral cycles. Other than carbon, oxygen, nitrogen and hydrogen being the principal geochemical components of the biosphere, many other minerals also occur as critical nutrients for plant and animal life. These mineral elements required by living organisms are obtained initially from inorganic sources such as phosphorus, sulfur, calcium and potassium. They usually occur as salts dissolved in soil, water or lakes, streams and seas. Mineral salts come directly from the earth crust by weathering, where these soluble salts enter the water cycle, eventually reaching the sea. Other salts are returned to the earth's surface through the sedimentation, and after weathering, they again enter the cycle. All living organisms fulfill their mineral requirements from mineral solutions in their environments. Other animals receive their mineral needs from the plants and animals they consume. After the death of living organisms, the minerals are returned to the soil and water through decomposition and flow. Next and last point is ecological balance. Ecological balance is a state of dynamic equilibrium within a community of organisms in a habitat or ecosystem. It can happen when the diversity of living organisms remains relatively stable. Gradual changes do take place, but that happens only through natural succession. It can also be explained as a stable balance in the numbers of each species in an ecosystem. This occurs through competition and cooperation between different organisms where population remains stable. This balance is brought about by the fact that certain species compete with one another, determined by the environment in which they grow. This balance is also attained by the fact that some species depend on the other for their food and sustenance. Such accounts are encountered in vast grasslands, where the herbivorous animals like deer, zebras, buffaloes are found in plenty. On the other hand, the carnivorous animals like tigers, lions, etc., that are not usually in large numbers hunt and feed on the herbivores, thereby controlling their population. In the plants, any disturbance in the native forest, such as clearing the forest or for shifting cultivation, usually brings about a change in the species distribution. This change is due to competition, where the secondary forest species such as grasses, bamboos or pines overtake the native species, changing the original forest structure is called succession. Ecological balance may be disturbed due to the introduction of new species, natural hazards or human causes. Human interference has affected the balance of plant communities, leading to disturbances in the ecosystems. Such disturbances bring about numerous secondary successions. Human pressure on the Earth's resources has put a heavy toll on the ecosystem. This has destroyed its originality and has caused adverse effects to the general environment. Ecological imbalances have brought many natural calamities like floods, landslides, diseases, erratic climatic occurrences, etc. There is a very close relationship between the plant and animal communities within particular habitats. Diversity of the life in a particular area can be employed as an indicator of the habitat factor. Proper knowledge and understanding of such factors provide a strong base for protecting and conserving the ecosystems. So, thanks for listening. This is for now. Thank you.